Hello, welcome. So today we're in r/confessions, and I would just like to say I cannot remember who it was that suggested this to me. It was one of you guys, and oh my life, that subreddit is absolutely insane. Like, it makes Am I the Butthole look wholly wholesome. Like, oh my goodness. To the point where there was quite a few posts I knew I could not read on here. But we're going to give it a try with what I did get and see what you all think. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, then please do stick around and enjoy. So, first post, I've manipulated my husband by strategically sleeping with him for more than 20 years. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's one way to train a man, I suppose. I've been married for going on 30 years. Many years ago, I realised that on the weekends, if I got up in the morning and did whatever I needed to do, made breakfast, took care of the kids, cleaned, etc., my husband would just stay in bed all day and watch TV. If I wanted to take the kids somewhere or suggested that we go shopping or hiking or hang out with friends or literally anything, my husband would say that he's worked hard all week and wants to just relax. So we'd do nothing all weekend. But if I started the morning by sleeping with him, shortly after we're done, he'd get up, take a shower, and be ready to go conquer the world. So, if I want to have a lazy day at home, I get up and do whatever I want. But if I want to go do something, I sleep with him first in the morning. I know I'm intentionally manipulating him, and I don't actually care because I feel like he's getting what he wants, and so am I. I mean, this seems fine in my book. No one's being hurt. He gets a bit of nookie in the morning, which clearly gives him the get up and go, and you get to do stuff at the weekend. I love, though, that it's even so effective to the point that if you know you don't want a weekend of doing things, you just don't do it with him in the morning. Oh, that's so funny. That is so funny. And then down in the comments, Destroyer? Noticing a behaviour pattern and finding a positive way around it, or to modify it like this, really doesn't strike me as manipulation. I'm pretty certain that your husband would feel the same way. Oh yeah, I bet he does. I bet he loves it, in fact. Being in a relationship is supposed to be mutually beneficial, and I feel like you've nailed it. No pun intended. And then Glannis is a bitch, is she? It feels more like a form of cognitive behavioural therapy. She found herself routinely dissatisfied with her and her husband's weekend routine and found a pattern of weekends going in a way she preferred, often following morning S, and replicated the action to repeat the pattern. And then Destroyer says that is a fair assessment, still not a bad thing in my opinion. Finding ways to work as a couple, even unknowingly, is a part of it. For sure. Absolutely. I think that this is a great way to do it. No one's getting butthurt, they're not arguing over it. OP's just found an effective way around it, and to be fair, a bit of intimacy in the morning is probably not a bad way to start for either of them. Next post, I accidentally started a year-long prank war with a total stranger, and they have no idea it's me. It all started with a simple mistake. I was at a coffee shop, distracted, half awake, and when the barista called out Jake, I grabbed the drink without thinking. A few sips in, I realised my mistake, but it was too late for some poor guy named Jake was probably inside wondering why his caramel latte had vanished. The next day, I walked in and saw a sign near the register. If your name is Jake, double check your order. I should have let it go, but something about it made me laugh, so I decided to keep the joke going. I started leaving cryptic sticky notes around the shop that said things like, Jake knows, asked the barista in a hushed tone if Jake had been in today, and once even wrote, thanks for everything, Jake, on the community chalkboard. Sinister but funny, I'd say. Sometimes I'd order under his name and just tip extra to confuse him. Over time, the baristas started talking about Jake like he was some kind of local legend, and I had no idea if the real Jake has any clue what's going on. I don't even know who he is, but at this point, I think I'm in too deep. Jake, if you're out there, I'm sorry, but also, are you okay? That's great, poor Jake. And down in the comments, Feeling Just Peachy says, this is one of those rare, perfect examples of a mostly harmless prank in which no one gets hurt, harassed, or traumatized for social media clout, aside from the mistakenly stolen coffee that was the true innocent bystander in this situation. Yeah, honestly, I hate those prank channels, prank videos where it's like they're just trying to like harass people in public. Like, pack it in, you weirdos. It's not funny, it's just cruel. And the people that enjoy videos like that too, I question a lot about why. And then PyroFem says, am I the only one getting rom-com vibes? Hallmark, are you listening? I mean, Hallmark's always listening and waiting to steal an idea for a shite rom-com, aren't they? And then RYG Dav says, how long before they call out an order for Jake and one by one all the patrons stand up and say, I am Jake? Then Glittering Lunch 347 says, I am Jake and so's my wife. Next post, I know everyone says don't look. My husband has a tendency to not charge his phone, I assume that's supposed to say. If I don't see him set his alarm for work, I'll check it and make sure they're on. I'm pregnant and sleep has been hard to come by for me, so I heard him receive a text at 11 p.m. I didn't think much of it, a little strange, but that was it. One of my many bathroom trips of the night, I went to check his alarms. He fell asleep early. He jumped up so fast when I clicked the button on the side of the phone to check his battery. He stayed awake for quite some time after, moving his phone right next to him. Normally, he leaves it on the floor next to him or the table. He, however, didn't move his Apple Watch, which after the reaction I had to look. It was very out of character for him. It was only an incoming text from a number not named. Yes, I am, was all it said. Last time something like this happened, he said it was spam. It was from a listed escort. What? But I've never received any spam text like that. I don't think he currently has time to meet with anyone, but messaging or phone calls he would have time for. He's only been intimate with me once during my pregnancy. Are you sure he's not meeting up with other people? I had to wait for the all clear from the doctor. That was 5 months ago. Okay, so it wasn't because he didn't want to, it's because you couldn't. Oh, I get you. Now, of course, I'm questioning the last 14 years of my life, wondering if I made a mistake. He's always been so good to me. I know I have to talk to him. I don't think I'll get much of a different answer. Yeah, he's probably not going to be like, yeah, I'm cheating. Like, obviously. Yeah, I unfortunately think this one is cheating because it's not so much the content of that text. It's the fact that they have now rushed to grab their phone and are sleeping with it right next to them. That says guilt to me, and I'm sure it probably does to everyone else. Down in the comments, Wholestore2391 says, the second you said the text said, yes, I am, but had no saved number attached, I said, this is an escort. I've seen this situation happen in real life. An escort doesn't randomly spam numbers that aren't her clientele, because that's an easy way for her to get caught up and arrested. I would bet you money that if you got into those texts, you would see him asking her the pricing and asking her if she was available. Do with the knowledge what you will, but know that he's lying about what's going on. Yeah, I think he's definitely lying, whether it's cheating, whether the number's not saved on purpose, or whether it is an escort. I think that they're definitely cheating. And do you know what? I just realized that the OP actually said it was an escort for the last time this happened, and they said, and the husband had said, oh wait, they obviously were spamming. Yeah, no, I don't think an escort's going to be doing that. You know? I don't think they just cold call people, do they? I highly doubt. And then Southern Guy 9763 says, also be aware they typically use code words and subtlety when discussing prices and times, like roses instead of dollars kind of thing. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think OP really needs to go and get into that phone. Although how much that they would be able to do that, I don't know, considering clearly the husband is now on red alert and keeping an eye on that thing, like his life depends on it. Next post, my dead girlfriend and my wife's dead boyfriend is the reason we're together. I don't know, it's effing crazy story, and I figured I'd put it on here. After seeing all these stories from Reddit on TikTok, I know it's unbelievable, but I don't care. It's a truth. Read it as a story if you'd like. When I was 18, I met my girlfriend Catherine. She was my age, met her at uni, loved her from the second I saw her. I fell hard for her. I got 18 effing amazing months with her from 2012 to 2014. She died in a car crash, dead at the scene. Oh, that's really sad. I felt like I died with her. I wanted to die with her, but I knew she'd be furious with me. First 2 years were the worst years of my life. I sat by her grave pretty much every day, lost myself to alcohol, firm believer grief doesn't lessen with time, you just grow used to it. Yeah, I totally would agree with that. Didn't get to visit her grave for about 2 years since I moved to New York to get my shite sorted out. When I moved back, I'd visit her 2 times a week, and I noticed I always saw the same woman there at a grave about 10 or so away from Kat's. Sometimes she'd be crying, sometimes she'd just sit there, sometimes she'd go on her phone, sometimes she had a bottle of wine, but she was there a lot. After about 6 months, we left around the same time, and I figured I'd offer my condolences. She said she noticed me as well. She was grieving her boyfriend who drowned while sailing. My goodness! All these tragedies going on so locally to you guys. Move! I told her about Catherine. That was that, but for another 4 months, I'd still see her around. We always left the same time, so we'd make small talk. Eventually, I asked her for a coffee, genuinely not romantically, and then for the next year and a half, we were friends. She was the only person who knew my grief. She struggled as I did. It was never more than friendship between us. No one was ready for more, and 2 years into our friendship, something changed, and I fell in love with her. It didn't mean I didn't love Kat. I do, I always will. But somehow my grief cleared just enough to let me love Layla as well. I told her straight up, no BS, and yeah, she felt the same. Started dating in early 2020, ended up quarantining with her. We're getting married in a week. I visit Kat about every 2 weeks now. I miss her, I always will, but I think she'd want me to love again. She was that type of woman. Some people might hate this story. It's anything but romantic, but it's what happened. I mean, I would say it's pretty romantic. You've both connected over something horrific and been able to get something so good out of it, which sounds like really horrible to say. And I feel like you know what I mean. I don't mean it in that way. I mean, something so awful has turned into something so good. And it's really, really positive as well that you've both had the same experience. So you can both comfort each other, help each other through things, understand each other, because like we've seen in a previous video I posted the other day on Friday, some people don't quite know how to deal with their grief, and it can turn into something abhorrent for their new relationships. So it's great that you understand each other and have gone into your relationship now knowing how each other feels, knowing how each other deals with the grief, and accepting that and accepting each other for it. It's very positive and it's very nice. Down in the comments, Little Bear is okay says headline not romantic, story big time romantic. Oh, absolutely. Sukinator 3000 says united in grief, then united in love now. That's probably what they would have wanted. And then Sweet Lexi 20 says, your grief pushed you together. It's cute. I'm happy for the both of you. And then Reddit user 12346 says, good for you, OP. A lot of what you're feeling resonates. You never get over losing a loved one, but I'll use that analogy. You wouldn't drive your car looking in the rearview mirror. Life shouldn't be lived that way either. Best of luck to you and your fiance. I'm happy you found someone who understands you. There's no replacing the person you lost, but both she and your fiance can coexist in your heart. I lost my wife of 15 years, so speaking from experience, when I was ready to begin dating, I met my now fiance working at a bank while I was sorting out probate stuff for my late wife. It was an odd place to find each other, but we're at the right place at the right time in our respective lives. Yeah, exactly. And you could even look at it in the way of maybe your partners have sort of made friends in the great beyond wherever they are and decided to kind of give you a nudge together because they knew that you'd be good together, Especially if you say that Kat was that kind of woman, if it was possible for them to do that, she probably would have done that. She wouldn't have wanted you to be sitting there grieving and sad all the time. My girlfriend is one of those I clean filthy houses for free on YouTube and TikTok. I love watching those. I don't know how much longer I can take it. I love my girlfriend very dearly, and what she does for people is very heartwarming and overall incredible for having to do it for free for those with mobility issues, severe depression, and such. When she first bought it up over a year ago, I couldn't help but be skeptic because it costs money and time. But when we first did it for our late neighbour, who was a hoarder, I loved the feeling of how happy she was to finally see the floor and finally breathe in something fresh. So I stood by her side as we did our small little business, and then when I wasn't able to help her one time due to work and family issues, I was surprised to find out that she took videos of her cleaning and edited it, posted it on YouTube and TikTok. Of course it was slow, but with more uploads and new customers needing help, soon her channel and account gained attention, and every day she got more than 1,000 followers and likes. My goodness, every day? Gaining 1,000 followers a day? I get maybe like 2 when I post. But to be fair, I do this for a hobby anyway. It's not because I'm like thinking that it's ever going to become a career. I've got the watch time for it too. I've got like nearly 3,000 hours of watch time already. But I have 180 subscribers, so YouTube would literally tell me to piss right off. So yeah, which of course I'm absolutely appreciative for those 182, 80, it might be 184 now, subscribers. Absolutely. And like I say, I'm doing it for a hobby, so I don't really concentrate on the subscriber count. But yeah, I think you have to have like 1,000, which is never going to happen. Let's be realistic. I can't ever imagine 1,000 people wanting to listen to me waffle on. I just like that there's like 184 of you that like listening to me waffle on. I find that very flattering, and I like to share stories and read them, so that's what I like to do. It's all just a hobby, really. So it was an incredible feeling, especially seeing her so happy to see others wanting to help. So that's when our business grew and people donated and we travelled helping those in need. But it started becoming overwhelming when people started asking for help in other countries, and with my job, I couldn't, but my girlfriend kept insisting, so she would sometimes go without me, which honestly concerns me. Though I noticed how much more little time we spent together, because whenever she came back, she went straight to our computer to look through her email and see who to help. She'll edit her videos and post them. I was supportive because this made her so happy, and I did not want to take the stars out of her eyes, but she travelled so much and I missed her dearly, and soon she didn't want to cuddle up on the couch with me. She's in meetings with big companies over prices, with cleaning supplies, dump delivery, flights, food, furniture, and other things, and soon she stopped being herself. My goodness, if they're flying to other countries, they must have a really large channel, and now I'm like, who could this be? Because I do watch some of these channels, like I like to watch them. I don't know why. I find it really satisfying seeing like the befores and afters. We ate separately and even slept separately, as she'll stay up late to edit her videos and going through applications. I tried talking to her about it, which started a big argument, and she accused me of being selfish, as I do not know what it's like to be depressed. I understand the struggle, but it wasn't fair on my part, so I apologised so she can be happy. She soon stopped talking to me much and would only kiss me and say goodbye while she travelled. Sometimes I'll come with her and help her clean, but apparently she did not like how I cleaned, so she stopped taking me with her. I tried so many times, and still she argues with me, and it hurts. I love her so much, and she means the entire world to me, and I want to propose to her someday, but she isn't being herself anymore. The only time I ever see my girlfriend is in her videos, seeing that gorgeous smile and that incredible laugh, and how she talked to her viewers. I miss her. I miss her so much. She's traveling too much to help those that she didn't have enough room for me. I know it may be selfish, but she only spends time in our house if I'm lucky enough. A week, she cancels our dinners because she needs to clean a house and traveling. She doesn't even tell me that she's booked a flight until that day. On our 5th anniversary, I booked a very expensive restaurant that I thought she'll love, and it took months for me to get a spot, and I was so excited because she promised me she was going to stay. But of course, when it was close to that day, she needed to help a customer and told me to cancel it. I tried telling her that I want to spend our anniversary together, and she snapped at me, as if spending time with me was a chore itself. She even stopped cleaning our house, which is fine, as she always cleans for others. But she throws trash on the floor and leaves dirty dishes everywhere and her clothes. She stopped caring completely, as all she cared about was her channel and her online persona. I don't know how much longer I can take this. It hurts so much because I feel selfish, and maybe I am, but I want to be loved again. I want my girlfriend back, and not this shell of a person I once knew. I want to try to work things out if she'll listen, and I don't want to stop her from doing something incredible. But I just don't think I can take this much longer. Yeah, I mean, I completely get it because at that point, it sounds like you're not even in a relationship. You're basically just two ships in the wind passing. It doesn't sound good for either of you because also it sounds like she is just really letting work take over her life and her work-life balance sounds completely off. Anyway, down in the comments, I'm not reading that username. The only way to salvage your relationship is if she introduces balance to her lifestyle and makes time for herself and for you. If she's not willing to do that, then you will unfortunately have to move on. The amount she works is not sustainable. She will burn out eventually, and that mental physical fallout will not be a pretty one. Source: I was a workaholic once upon a time, had a mental breakdown, and I'm still suffering the repercussions 6 years later. I mean, yeah, working yourself to the bone like that is not good. And if she's letting her environment get really gross and disgusting as well, I think she's already on the verge or in the first stages of burnout, to be honest. Because, yeah, for someone who's a cleaner to be letting their home become a complete cesspool, yeah, that's not good. That's not a good sign. Next post, I lied to my family about winning the lottery just to get the last laugh. And if they're saying they lied and said that they did win the lottery, that is unhinged. But, I mean, let's see if it was deserved. I have a very complex relationship with my siblings and mother. My relationship with them was already weak, but I wrote them off after I found that my mother had been funneling money that I gave her to my siblings, and that my mother helped them with things that she wouldn't help me out with, i.e., buying house, college, tuition, etc. So she's using your money to spoil your siblings. Okay. I hadn't spoken to my mother in a year, and the last email I sent her was 6 months ago. She had no idea if I was dead or alive and doesn't seem to care, so I emailed her to say I was going to move to Hawaii and fundamentally retire because I had won the lottery. Oh my god. I wasn't gloating about winning the lottery, I was just telling her she wouldn't be hearing from me and not to worry. I'm gonna guess that you didn't win the lottery. All of a sudden, she calls me and emails me. She says she loves me and wishes she had been a better mother and my siblings are all a-holes. Then my siblings tried reaching out to say that they miss me and would love a Hold on a minute. If she says your siblings are a-holes and is implying that she then clearly wouldn't really have much to do with them, that's quite clearly a lie already because she's gone straight to them and told them. So siblings get in touch, say they miss me and would love a relationship and would love for me to meet all my nephews. Can we get lunch? I blew them off by saying that I'm busy with real estate people, lawyers, accountants, all of these people that I need to manage my winnings. It's not like I won $20 from a scratch card off ticket. It's about 70 million. It's just fun to watch them kiss my ass. I'm planning on ghosting them and resuming our estrangement. I just want to even the score and get the last laugh. I won't even tell them the truth. Just let them think that they lost a chance to get a free ride on me. I mean, I ain't gonna sit here and endorse this message. I'm not gonna sit here and endorse this level of pay. But I'm also not gonna say I'm mad at it either. Especially when it's like the perfect kind of payback because the mum was using you for money and now she thinks you've got loads of it. You're just gonna do a disappearing act and estrange them again. I mean, goodness me, that's definitely one way to toy with them. It's petty, but I'm not mad at it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not mad at it. And on that note, I'm going to leave it there for today. Anyway, if you made it all the way to the end, then I appreciate you very much. I would appreciate you even more if you left a little like and a subscribe. That would be great. And that way you can find your way back here as well. Other than that, I'm going to disappear and get to bed because it is like, oh my goodness, it's 20 past 12. Deary me. Ugh, and I'm going to get up at the ass crack of dawn to the sound of kids going, "What's for breakfast?" So yeah, whatever you're doing today, I hope you're having a really good day. Other than that, I'm going to disappear. Goodbye.